overall scout leader is George Claudio. Our scout troops are prominent and they win many competitions. The St. John Ambulance Cadet is led by Brandon Amos Obala. He's commanding the parade.
With 47.6% of the 124 candidates scoring an A or A minus. This is history. Mrs. Josephine Muriti, please. And the top department. The most improved department was biology. Ms. Pamela Maganga, please. With the center. And also representing Kenya Airports Authority, who are giving us 750,000 to refurbish our audio-visual room and digital learning platforms, which the boys were. Thank you very, very much, and pass our regards to the patron. The boys will remember you every day. Could I invite Mr. Benson Rateng, the people who provide finances? As I mentioned...
For that reason, both with others form the OSS, the All Starehe Society, that today is the vehicle through which the alumni works with the school. And I call on all the alumni to continue strengthening OSS, working with OSS, be members in every way, work with the projects of OSS, because we've seen in the last couple of years, 5 years or so, a lot of activity, and that has given the school the strength that they have today to achieve the kind of things that we see being mentioned today. I will specifically talk about the Griffin Memorial Endowment Trust Fund, which for us now we know is the very instrument that will give the sustainability and the stability of the financial muscle that Starehe requires to educate, to care for, and to bring up men and women of Starehe the way they should be. And so I encourage the old boys, wherever they are, some of them here, captains of industry, great men in cabinet, like our two elder brothers and seniors, the Prof and Tuju himself. I call on all of us that this is what must be done. There are very many ways. Members of OSS, captains of industry, bring us the kind of checks we are seeing here. Bring personal endowments, as some of you have done, and some of you will be presenting checks today. This is my encouragement. If we can get GMET to, as Joshua would have said, 1.5 billion or 2 billion, we would be home and dry in the affairs of financing and supporting the Starehe schools. That is the boys' school and the girls' school as well. For that reason, a lot of us in this year celebrating Starehe at 60 took on initiatives, climbed Mount Kenya as the director has said. And in fact, the entire Mount Kenya team, I would like to recognize you. Where are you? Can you stand, all of you? The 20 of you, I believe. Yeah, so this team,
sometimes it is framed as corruption or anti-corruption, but really, it is us as a people trying to determine our values. It is indeed, I would go so far as to say, it is a fight for the soul of this nation. Chief guests, I can say with humility that the answers to some of these questions can be found in emulating the Starehe way. In the last 60 years, what we have seen has only been possible because of the support from our partners and friends, starting with the Sheikh Foundation represented here, Kenya Shell, who are the founding partners together with the Sheikh Foundation. Thousands of well-wishers and supporters have stood with us through this journey. Chief guest, I cannot go without mentioning the support and guidance that we have received from our patron since 1969, and I would like to extend, on behalf of the Managing Committee and the entire Starehe community, our thanks through Judy Kibaki to His Excellency, the third President of the Republic of Kenya, for being with us, giving us guidance, and standing with us, and continuing to do so for the last 50 years. For this, to all our friends and partners, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Due to limitations of time, and I have been advised that I stand between you and a good lunch, and I have been told that the last thing you should do is stand between schoolboys and schoolgirls and a good lunch, so I will hasten. I cannot name all our friends today. I really wish I could, because without you, Starehe would not be what it is, and we would all be the worse for it. But to those who are present or represented here, and to those who are not able to join us today, we say asanteni sana, and may God bless you for your generosity and your support. Today's Diamond Jubilee celebration must give us pause to consider what our founders would think if they were here today. First, and I venture to put myself in their place, I think they would look in front of me and to my left and right and behind me with a sense of pride when they see the students of the two Starehe schools, when they see the committed staff, the old boys, and they see the supporters and some of the alumni of Starehe and what they have achieved. A sense of deep pride and satisfaction. But they would also look forward and imagine the next 60 years. And here, I venture to say that they would be filled with a certain degree of concern. And those concerns, Bona Chief Guest, are what we, as the Managing Committee, are striving in our own small way to take on. When the director spoke earlier, he talked about some of the challenges of transition. And indeed, we continue to encounter challenges of transition. We had 3 great founders who are not with us today, and we need to find a system, a structure of internal governance that works and replicates what they were able to do. Some progress has been made in the last 10 years, but Bona Chief Guest, I venture to say that it is still a journey and we still have more work to do, but you have our commitment as a managing committee and together with the staff and others who serve Starehe, that we will endeavor to make sure that we pass through these transition challenges and that we build an enduring governance structure for this great institution. The other challenge,
and she says, would like to say a very big thank you to the Starehe family for standing by Ken throughout his journey. Starehe meant the world to Ken, and you are his second family. He held some of the most fond memories in life at Starehe. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to invite to speak on behalf of the...
Or rather, that's me, as we commemorate Starehe Boys Centre's Diamond Jubilee Founders Day. For the last 60 years, anchored on the vision of Geoffrey Griffin, Geoffrey Gitoro, and Joseph Ikubu, Starehe has risen to become an institution of exemplary reputation. Founders Day at Starehe is a symbolic annual event that offers students, parents, guardians, alumni, and many others connected to Starehe in one way or another a chance to take stock and look ahead. He further says, besides being a moment of introspection, the Founders Day is also a time for thanksgiving. We thank God for bringing Starehe this far. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to celebrate the dividends of a phenomenal journey and an extraordinary vision, the vision that gave rise to Starehe Boys Center and School. We are here to honor the sacrifices made by the founders of what has become a center of excellence and a wonderful role model of both local schools and others around the continent. The Starehe Boys Center tradition offers a momentous example of how character, leadership, and service to fellow humankind should be nurtured and inculcated. The center is a towering testimony of how empathy and selflessness of a few very committed citizens can transform destinies of countless men and women. Indisputably, Starehe's 60 years of existence are packed with as many accounts of personal transformation as the number of its alumni. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency the former President says he has had the privilege of serving Starehe Boys Center as patron for the last 50 years. To quote him, he says, "During my tenure as patron, my faith in the life-changing power of the value of an education that is deliberately geared towards molding wholesome personalities has been refreshed many, many times over." He further asserts that if there is one attribute I would so wholeheartedly recommend to all schools in Kenya and beyond, then it is making education an experience that targets attitude change while equipping the mind. Starehe's core values encourage learners to pursue and embrace excellence, self-discipline, integrity, sacrificial service, resilience, and fraternity. Lest you forget, Starehe Boys Center was originally conceptualized as a rescue center, a place of refuge in a remarkably inhospitable environment. Deprivation, back in the day, relegated many children to the streets, effectively denying them their future and distorting their destiny. While in some quarters, the youngsters Starehe targeted for rescue were considered vagrants, the founders of the center saw lives that deserved rehabilitation and another chance in life. As a result, over the last 60 years, many alumni have risen through various sectors of our economy to serve this country with distinction. Ladies and gentlemen, today's socio-economic realities are arguably different. However, the need to rescue young persons remains a daunting challenge we should all invest more time and resources in. Modern-day lures and distractions pose serious social challenges that require tailor-made interventions. For instance, addiction to alcohol and substance abuse in our society has reached alarming levels, and so is addiction to the misuse of electronic gadgets. Ways of getting young persons to spare more time in undertakings that sharpen their leadership skills, build better character, and impart values of service to others are paramount. As we seek to equip our young persons with cognitive and other skills relevant to productive livelihood, we should also ensure that we encourage them to embrace moral uprightness and a pragmatic work ethic. The time to reinstate diligence and hard work as emblems of pride and honor in this country is right, he says, is right now, so that the same can be embraced by future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I implore all of you present here today to contribute your part in supporting Starehe Boys Center and School, to continue being the magnificent institution where lives are transformed. In 2009, we officially inaugurated the Griffin Memorial Endowment Trust to help raise funds for bright but destitute children in both Starehe schools. We started off the trust with well over 80 million shillings as seed money. I am glad that as part of Starehe at 60, the Starehe community is working hard to raise funds for this trust, whose medium-term target is 2 billion shillings. This financial war chest will guarantee the continuity of helping needy students at Starehe schools. To support this tradition, it is important for students, teachers, and management to remain faithful to the foundations upon which Starehe is anchored. On the other hand, parents and guardians should spare no effort in ensuring that we are bringing up responsible citizens to whom we can entrust the future of our wonderful country. Long live Starehe. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we know.
Thank you. The patron of Starehe Boys Center, His Excellency, the immediate past President of Kenya, Stanley Emilio Mwai Kibaki, whom I respect very much. I have seen, did Manu go? Yeah, Dr. Manu Chandaria was here, Dr. Eda Gachukia, and the family of Sheikh, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Denmark. My guest, the Chair of Kenya National Examination Council and the CEO. All the management committee members who are not brothers, then all brothers, starting from Raphael Tuju to the Form 1 student there. That's why I was a bit disappointed when we are saying sit down and you are still standing. That's not a Starehean way. Are we together? I am here to represent His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, but I would like, after he has spoken, I can't say anything. So first of all, as Cabinet Secretary, I would want to declare conflict of interest in public so that the next 5 minutes, because as the Cabinet Secretary, all the children are mine. But I will be allowed to kindly take a conflict of interest for 5 minutes. And that conflict of interest is going to go this way. My brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, you know that Kenya has a very good government, but it is we the people who are corrupt. And I want to give you an example where you find a very good farm which God gave us for training our children on agricultural matters. Are we together? We have subdivided them and stolen it from our children. And that's why I am going to say here, in very simple English, as a Starehean, that for Starehe we shall not allow you to dismember Starehe Boys Center. It should be very, very clear that Starehe Boys Center is not just a school. It is a center with a purpose. The purpose for which it was established, I will not say again, because all the speakers have said. But that purpose is even now more urgent as I have traveled across the country. And I have seen the level of poverty in some parts of this country. So why in the hell do you want us to steal from the children? These hands are not the same. So I want to disagree with the chair of the management committee. Starehe has worked and shall work again. Because even during my time, I left here, don't be shocked, about over 50 years ago. It used to work that time. We had a director and we had a principal. Are we together? And they were both serving the child. And even today, me, I don't want to hear all this noise because it's stupid noise. We are serving those children. All our energy should be geared to serving those children. We want to give dignity to the poor. Now I am on the other side. Do you get the point? But if I wasn't given the opportunity when I was on that side, I would never have gotten here. So don't stop attempting to make Starehe just another public school. We shall not allow you without a fight. So I want to remind the chair of the management committee that dialogue is the very best and that we shall work with other people in government institutions so that we identify principals and leaders who can work with the director. Because after all that you have been told, me that you see me here, if Patrick Shaw was not at Starehe Boys Center at that time, I would never have gotten to my potential because I used to play guitar and escape from the class. So you need somebody who is there as a deputy director in charge of administration to ensure that the children are molded correctly. And it is a 24-hour job. For your information, Geoffrey Griffin never taught me any subject in the class, but he taught me subjects through life, which stayed with me, right? You saw the way I gave that instruction very competently. Yeah. And they know. That is what makes you a Starehe. Otherwise, you are not one. So that one is done. The second point, for all the children, not just Starehe, the most important things in life, first of all, it is not money. Money is just a means to an end, and it's useless unless you can use it to get somewhere. So let us stop worshiping money in this country. And let Starehe be the example. We need you to be disciplined. Discipline yourself. And I've seen it here pretty much, apart from the one or two guys who are being told 3 times to sit down. Perhaps the most important one is integrity. And the issue of integrity is tearing this country apart. I am not a politician and I don't disrespect them, but I will not be one. If you are not honest to yourself, for example, if you gamble, you are a student but you gamble, then you are not honest to yourself, apart from being stupid. So the integrity starts with you. Are we together? Then you can extend that integrity to somebody else. But you also need self-confidence. Griffin taught us to be satisfied with what we have. Why should I bother if I'm riding a bicycle and you're driving a Mercedes? It is your business. When I get to my house, which is one room, I will sleep very well with my family and wake up in the morning even better than you. Are we together? So self-discipline is so important, together with your own confidence and dedication, before you can extend it to anybody else. But we have lost it as a country, and I would like Starehe to take us back to where we used to be when we were director. Let us get our Starehe back first before we can help to get the country back. And I want to say without fear of contradiction that what I saw this morning when I went round, the finest students like you could get in any part of the world. So what happens then? What then happens? Who is telling you And here I want to accuse those parents who are still alive, who confuse their children. Are we together? The minds I saw there, those minds don't need any help at all to do any examination and get the marks that God gave you. And I think, Director, I'm challenging you, because first of all, I've not seen your principal, and I have not taken it kindly because the principal is so important. He's the head of academic. Are we together? The director must be the overall head, and he must have a deputy who makes sure that the boys, we used to sit on some iron seats, I don't know if they are still there. And whenever Griffin was passing, you stand up and snap to attention. If you don't, you know what will follow. That is discipline. Now I'm told even the caning has been taken away, which is making it more difficult. And so that is why you need somebody in charge. Like I've told you outside there, I'm addressing the kids. Everybody is full of processes. The processes are perfect. When you look at the paperwork, everything is perfect. All the money has been stolen. And you can't catch unless you go personally and do a physical audit. And I want to give you an example. I've been in the ministry for only 4 months. They tell you they have been feeding the children, they have spent so much money, for example, and they tell you we have fed the children for 191 days. So since me, I don't believe anybody, Griffin taught me not to believe anybody. Only God first, and what I see with my eyes. When you go to the school and you don't talk to the teacher, you talk to the child, who is an angel. Now let's say, Mulekula siku ngapi? He will tell you 30 days. If you go to the paperwork, everybody stands and everything passes. That's what you have to train these people against, because the country has slided backwards. When people are making noise, it is actually true. We were taught, ladies and gentlemen, to be accountable, to be proud of any work that you are doing. By the grace of God, I'm a cabinet secretary, but I don't have to be. I don't even know. Somebody, the president saw me through somewhere, but I can do any job, including cleaning toilets. And I will be very happy to go back to my wife and son and say, I've gotten this money, kwenda angalia umena huko tukuli. Who has told you I will not do it? This is what you people must do. Are we together? Because right now, when a director, we are having graduates in agriculture. They have land. There's a big river flowing from there. Do you get the point? The parents are working. If they want seeds or anything they can get. They in Nairobi are crying like idiots, stupid idiots, for 10 years. There are no jobs. Are we together? I would like the Starehian trained children to give the example to the others. Because I saw somebody had 1/8 of an acre, and that person produced a huge lorry of watermelons in under 2 months and got over 200,000 shillings. Is that not using your head? Let me say that I want to recognize, like I've said, from where I sit now, my job is to check how the money is spent. So as we are collecting money, and I will also give my endowment when the time comes, as we are collecting money, don't clap yet. My job is to ensure that that money is used for what it is meant. So, and I'm not accusing anybody or pointing any fingers, but when the director, Kenya has changed. Don't trust even anybody that you are working with. Make sure that the money is spent for those children there. I think I have finished what I wanted to say. Now, with your permission, I now become, but unfortunately, due to prior commitments, I was constrained to join you on this 60th Founders Day. Like all Kenyans, I have deep admiration for what the Starehe Boys Center and Starehe Girls Center have achieved over the years. The founders, the late Dr. Geoffrey William Griffin, the late Dr. Geoffrey Gatama Geturo, and the late Mr. Joseph Kamiru Gikubu, are immortalized by the fruits of their hard work and sacrifice. Today, another generation of leaders is building upon what the Roberts Foundation, or upon that Roberts Foundation, and creating a legacy of local and international repute and consequence. We gather here out only to celebrate 6 decades of unpatrolled excellence, but also to commit to and to lay groundwork for his legacy, going from strength to strength for the centuries to come. Those 3 gentlemen broke the mold and crafted the Starehe way, a bold and innovative approach to education and school management that placed the student at the heart of all institutions' activities, and which aimed to create responsible, self-motivated, academically excellent round individuals. The revolutionary approach proved to be unprecedented success and is a model that has been adopted by countless schools both at home and abroad, and indeed also informed some of the policy interventions developed by the government of the Republic of Kenya. The Starehe way is infectious. It has been a pleasure to work together with the alumni of Starehe in various fields and endeavors, and I can say without hesitation that every last one is a credit to this institution and an inspiration to all. It is not by accident that so many old boys are respected public figures in Kenya, and Kenyans who have made our nation better in large and small ways. This institution, guided by the dreams and visions of the founders, has always prioritized molding citizens who, even decades after leaving the gates of this institution, continue to live the ethos of Starehe. Mrs. Griffin, Geturo, and Gekubu, the founders of Starehe, inculcated this ethos by leading by example. They stood for unquestionable integrity, probity, dedication to duty, and service to others. I'll just repeat that. They stood for unquestionable integrity, probity, dedication to duty, and service to others. I call on all Kenyans to draw inspiration from the founders of Starehe and to commit to living each day in the Starehe way. Our nation faces challenges which at their core stem from the departure from the values of our forefathers, which are articulated in the present day as the national values and principles of governance under Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya. Selfishness, dishonesty, corruption, the pursuit of wealth at all costs. These are the vices that have no place in Kenya, but which have very sadly embedded themselves in far too many of our people. I urge each and every one of you here and all the alumni of this great institution to walk in the footsteps of the founders by committing to living a life of integrity, probity, dedication to duty, and service to others. In doing so, you would serve as ambassadors for those values across our nation and even beyond our borders. The task of eliminating these vices from our society may seem an impossible task, but if we all work together and walk the talk, it is achievable. Natulenge juu. From the formative days to date, the center continues to inspire hope, starting with the first patron, the late Thomas Joseph Mboya, to the current patron, His Excellency retired President Honorable Stanley Emilio Mwai Kibaki. Starehe has, through its vision, mission, and excellence, inspired and attracted the very best of Kenya to be ready and willing to be associated with it. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, it is my profound pleasure to ask all of you to be upstanding in honor of the Honorable President Mwai Kibaki, the third President of the Republic of Kenya, for his sacrificial service and dedication to the center for the past 50 years. We are supposed to present the coat of arms now, but it's already done. But I can shake your hands on his behalf. Please be seated. I would also like to recognize one of the founder sponsors of Starehe, who has supported Starehe for the 60 years since its inception, providing financial and material support and serving in both managing committee of the center and the board of trustees of the Griffin Memorial Endowment Fund, or Griffin Memorial Endowment Trust. Please be upstanding as we recognize Wahid Sheikh. I hope you have seen me. You better come here because they lost a man who served its managing committee and board of trustees for many years. I would like to recognize the late Evanson Mwaniki for his outstanding service to Starehe. May I invite his family to come and receive his posthumous recognition? That has already been done. We must also recognize a man that remains the longest serving chairman of the managing committee and an enduring friend of this remarkable institution, Mr. Nick Muriuki Mugwandia. May his soul rest in peace. This speech, as you know, was made by the presidential unit, and I am being informed that he passed on last night. I will pass that message back to the president when I get back to him. Countless other friends and supporters of Starehe from every corner of the globe have contributed to Starehe over the past 60 years. While we cannot mention all of them by name, on behalf of the grateful nation that has reaped incalculable benefits from the fruits of their support through the molding of men and women who contribute to serve the Republic with distinction, I wish to extend the warmest thanks and gratitude to them. Every alumnus in this institution has a pivotal part to play in that regard, particularly in terms of assisting economically disadvantaged pupils of the centers in completing their studies here. I also call on well-wishers and corporate sponsors to join hands with the Starehe in the vital work that the institution is doing. On our part, as the government of the Republic of Kenya, we have supported Starehe over the last 60 years, and we will continue to do so through various seminar activities under the Ministry of Education. Though I have been unable to join you for this 60th Founders Day, I look forward to visiting Starehe Boys and Girls Center later on this year. May the Almighty keep you and bless you, and may the Starehe way be the way of our citizens. May Starehe way be the way of our citizens to desire to live. God bless you and God bless Kenya. Of His Excellency the President, I'm not allowed to add even one thing. Even though I had many other things to say, I forgot to say them earlier. So thank you very much.